So I've explained Proteus Ridley and the Ridley robot in previous videos, but a version of Ridley I've seen requested a lot explained is Meta Ridley, the cyborg space dragon, with some confusion over when Ridley became a cyborg, his reappearance in Corruption after his defeat in Prime 1, and even if this is the same character from the 2D games. I want to do my best to explain Meta Ridley, try to explain his story, his origins, his abilities, to try to clear up some of the misconceptions around this character, and I hope you enjoy. And of course, if you enjoy Metroid content in general, please subscribe to this channel as I do Metroid videos regularly. And without further ado, let's get started! The story of Meta Ridley starts off near the ending events of the original Metroid game, Zero Mission. When Samus originally fought Ridley to gain access to the Torrent base, Ridley was left extremely wounded, and at some point the space pirates on Zebes were able to retrieve Ridley's near-dead body and transfer it over to the frigate Orpheon, which was orbiting Zebes during the events of the first game. If you want to know more about the frigate Orpheon and what it was doing on Zebes and all that sort of stuff, I already made a video on that, so click on the eye icon if you're interested. The space pirates' high command then ordered the scientists on the frigate Orpheon to operate on Ridley to resuscitate him by turning him into a cyborg. It was a painful procedure in which metal plating, cybernetic enhancements, and weaponry systems were given to Ridley, although it really seemed like Ridley wasn't on board with the procedure as it seemed to be pretty aggressive towards the scientists doing the operation. But the space pirates were indeed successful with the surgery, and early tests showed an increase in physical strength, mobility, and offensive capabilities. The scientists who even worked on Ridley even hoped that Meta Ridley would be a mainstay to the security force, but sadly though, tragedy strikes on the frigate Orpheon. Around the same time the space pirates were working on Ridley, they were also testing a newly discovered substance called Phisheyy and its mutagenic effects. After some mutated parasite queens wrecked the frigate, many space pirates and scientists were either forced to evacuate or just died, and basically abandoned the restrained Meta Ridley on the frigate Orpheon. It's never been addressed why Ridley was restrained on the frigate when Samus encounters him, but with data logs saying that Ridley was pretty aggressive during the procedure, and that they did early tests, we can assume that the space pirates made him unconscious and restrained him to safely perform more tests, but were interrupted by the loose parasite queens. Eventually though, Meta Ridley would regain consciousness as the frigate Orpheon was blowing up and escape the destruction, where he would head towards the orbited planet of Talon 4. After this though, we don't really know what Meta Ridley was doing on the planet. Although, since we do see a shadow in Phaedrana Drifts, which has a space pirate base on it, it's believed that Meta Ridley actually regrouped with the pirates on the planet to prepare for the eventual fight with Samus. Eventually though, Samus would arrive to the artifact temple with all 12 artifacts, and this is where Meta Ridley strikes as he enters the arena with a barrage of missiles, destroying the temple pillars and starting the fight. Now armed with the kinetic breath laser, the Mason bomber launcher, the ultra thermal flame striker projector, and multi-missile seekers, which I think are called Stinger ballistics, Meta Ridley poses a tough challenge for Samus. It also helps that his metal plating makes him extremely durable. Starting off the fight, Meta Ridley attempts to keep his distance by flying around the arena, but Samus' arsenal is capable of damaging him. Meta Ridley's weakest point is his chest, as the plating is much thinner around there. Damaging the chest plate actually created an electrical feedback loop throughout Meta Ridley's body, damaging him. Now between you and me, I actually didn't know about the electrical feedback thing. I just thought we were hitting his heart because of the thin plating. With enough damage, Meta Ridley's solar sail wings would burn up, forcing Ridley to be earthbound. Despite losing his ability to fly, Meta Ridley quickly adapts, attempting to cover his weak point, but with missiles to the mouth, it forces Meta Ridley to recoil and exposing his weak point again. As the fight progresses, Meta Ridley shows that he is overloading due to all the damage to his chest plate. This is when the Chozo statues around the temple glow red and shoot focused lasers straight into Meta Ridley's chest, pushing him back off to the ledge of the arena, where he will then fall off to the ravine and explode. Many people don't realize what actually activated the pillars, but the data log for the Chozo Artifact Sanctuary gives us a big clue for why the statues attacked Ridley. It states that those who respect and honor the relics will know the friendship of the Chozo. Those who deface and destroy them will know our wrath, unfeathered and raw. Since Meta Ridley was destroying the relic statues in the arena, and even started off the fight by bombing a few of them, he defaced and destroyed the relics, and thus incurred the wrath of the Chozo, activating the pillars to attack him. However though, Meta Ridley would survive his defeat, and spent some time recovering from his failure until the events of Corruption. With Dark Samus taking control of the space pirates, and with there being a Leviathan seat on Eutragus, Meta Ridley fell under Dark Samus' influence and served under her. He would now have a blue tint to his skin, which could be caused by absorbing some Phazon. Some of his cybernetics were also gone too, which shows that he is slowly healing, whether it's due to his natural healing or maybe with the help of some of the Phazon. But his tattered wings indicates that he still hasn't fully recovered from his last battle. Commanded by Dark Samus, Meta Ridley joined the Space Pirates as they invaded Norian, and he would be pretty active during the raid, wiping out an entire squad of Marines, and even trying to stop Samus from activating power generators. Eventually though, Meta Ridley would attempt to ambush Samus as he tackled her, although his weight broke the platform that Samus was standing on, sending both of them free falling down a generator shaft. Meta Ridley seems to be physically weaker than the last time we encountered him, but he still puts up a fight as he slashes, bites, and grabs at Samus to defeat Samus before they hit the floor. However, Samus is able to withstand the attacks and eventually get the upper hand as she pries open Meta Ridley's mouth and shoots down his throat, and letting him tumble down the rest of the way as she is saved by Rundus. Ridley does survive the fall and retreats with the Space Pirates back to Eutragus after failing their mission. There, Ridley would absorb even more Phazon, enhancing and transforming him into a new form, but we'll talk about Omega Ridley next time. So that's the story of Meta Ridley. It's pretty straightforward for the most part, but I do know some of the confusion comes from people not really knowing when the Prime games take place, so the confusion comes from when Ridley became the cyborg, and then people get up ideas that maybe it's a separate space dragon out there that became the Meta Ridley. But nah, after the first game, Ridley gets badly wounded and gets converted into a cyborg for the Prime games, and then will eventually become Proteus Ridley and then heal off and all that sort of stuff. But of course, what do you guys think though? I hope you learned something new. I really do hope you enjoyed the video, and of course I will be talking about Omega Ridley next, and then Ridley Clone and Neo Ridley, so that eventually we can make a nice playlist of having each Ridley form in chronological order to have a nice timeline of like when all this sort of stuff happened. But also, if you have other suggestions for other bosses, creatures, or entities in this series you want explained, please feel free to tell me so I can probably put it in the queue on things to talk about. And if you want more Metroid content, feel free to click on that video above. It's a video where I talk about like, you know, some things that would change for a potential port of Samus Returns to the Switch. It's all hypothetical, it's all like, you know, just a wish list of things I want changed, but I think it's an interesting topic and I hope you do check it out. With that being said though, I'm the Metroid Trainer. I hope you like, share, subscribe, and stick around for next time because I'll be seeing you later.